Elon Musk throwing a big Hollywood party last night for Tesla's debut of its long-awaited robotaxi, which they are now calling a Cybercab. There's also a new robo-van and more robots. Here is Musk talking about the Cybercab and a timeline for full self-driving.
We'll move from supervised full self-driving to unsupervised full self-driving, where the car, you could fall asleep and wake up at your destination. You can think of the car in an autonomous world as being like just a little lounge. You're just sitting in a comfortable little lounge, and you can do whatever you want while you're in this comfortable little lounge. And when you get out, you will be at your destination. So, yeah, it's going to be awesome. We do expect actually to start fully autonomous, unsupervised FSD in Texas and California next year. And that's obviously, that's with the Model 3 and Model Y. And then we expect to be in production with the Cybercab, which is really highly optimized for autonomous transport in probably, well, I tend to be a little optimistic with timeframes, but in 2026. So, yeah, before 2027, let me put it that way.
Joining us now with more, Tim Higgins, Wall Street Journal business columnist and a CNBC contributor. And, you know, it's really weird because it's almost down political lines. But Elon Musk is either someone who promises and never delivers for one side. I've seen articles written, really kind of incredible. And then on the other side, people that say, yeah, I've seen rockets go up and then land. The same rocket. So, I don't know how you discount this guy or poke holes in it, but there have been some timelines that have been missed. Do you believe these timelines?
It's hard to say. What he's talking about sounded really cool in 2016 when he was talking about the same thing that was just around the corner. That said, you point out this fact that he has been successful in areas where nobody thought he could be successful. So that gives him a credibility, and it means we have to listen to him. We have to take them seriously. That's, the second part of that, though, and I think some investors, pre-market, are showing that they're going to take it with a grain of salt. This is Elon's standard time. He's heading towards a goal, trying to push the organization. Does he deliver on the exact date of that goal? History would say probably not.
There are a lot of people working on it. At the latest, Tim, when do you see full self-driving? Where you're sitting in, like he said, like in a lounge. I don't know if you can have a cocktail. Would that be DUI if you're...
No, not if you're not driving.
Depends on the state law.
It depends on the state law. Sounds like trouble for people that might have a pre-existing condition.
You can't have open containers in a lot of cars.
That's true, too. But what you think before 2030, though?
Well, hey, he's talking about having fully self-driving vehicles, the Model Y in California and Texas next year. That could be a reasonable goal. We have in California, where I'm based here, cars driving around without people in them. Waymo has deployed robot taxis, so It is possible. We have seen it. There's a regulatory pathway for that. He has been working on this technology for a long period of time. He has not demonstrated the ability to do this on public roads yet, but next year, maybe it's possible.
How about any of the other things catch your attention yesterday? And the stock's been kind of okay. It's not on its highs, but it's come back from some lower levels recently. What do you think? What accounts for the move today? Just sell on the news, you think?
Yeah, I think there was a build up to that. Look, the details were thin here. There were a lot of promises. I think some investors were going in very hopeful that we would see a lot more nuance, a lot more meat on the bone. Elon even said at one point on stage, as people were peppering him with questions, this wasn't the time for nuance. This was the time for dream building, and in a lot of ways is kind of what he was signaling. And that's important for Tesla. That's important for Elon. There's been a lot of, as you pointed out, controversy around the company, around him in the past year or so. He has been out there trying to reframe and remind people what this company is about. It is about the future of transportation. That's what people and investors get excited about when he does that. It's paid off for him in the past. These kinds of events are for the faithful.
Right. when would that ever be a money? I guess it would be someday. There's the guys walking around mowing your lawn. I don't know. Maybe can they cook? Make some scrambled eggs? Do you know?
Absolutely. He's talking about this being way bigger part of the business, or way more valuable part of the business than the car business. So in the trillions and trillions of dollars, an idea, a future where there are more of these things than actual humans that do all the things that we don't want to do or can't do.
I mean, we didn't laugh. We just were kind of blown away at the proposal for everyone's eyes being scanned globally. I mean, billions of people, so that we're able to tell people from non-people. And you just said something that means we might need that someday, which I don't know if I'll live to see, but that's pretty amazing.
Hey, Tim, one thing that he said, that if you're looking for a reason for the stock being down, look, he's looking at selling these robotaxis for $30,000, under $30,000. And I guess if you're an investor, if you're someone who wants to buy them, that's fantastic news. If you're an investor, you're maybe thinking, where's the margin? How do we make money on this?
Sure. I mean, I think he's talking about that kind of price point at scale. What does scale mean? It's always the kind of the question with him. And also, he has a long history of saying these products are going to be X and then being twice as much when it actually comes out. So in a lot of ways, these kind of numbers are bogeys, and he'll kind of work towards trying to get them in the, if not ballpark, in the city of the idea.
50 would not be prohibitive. 30 sounds crazy. So
Tim,
you don't get much for 50 anymore.
Real quick, what do you think this means to a company like an Uber or Lyft?
More competition, right? For Waymo in particular, they have a huge kind of lead at this point. They are actually deploying. They're actually doing this, but they don't build their own cars. They have to work with partners. For Uber, it's an interesting thing. There could be potentials for synergies there. They've got a huge network. Elon has kind of pointed at that idea in the past, though it's a little unclear of what would happen. But if you have robot taxis, that could be an existential threat to a rideshare company. That's something that the previous leaders of Uber had kind of talked about years ago, and why they were in the technology, but then they got out.
Could be a fleet of those, right?
You could have a fleet of them, and it may very well be that that fleet works on Uber and works on Lyft and works on all of these other things.
Seems even better than dealing with all the things that go involved with the the driver and benefits and all the different states that.
Sure. So then the question is, does Uber end up buying those cars and end up leasing those cars?
Right.
But if Tesla would like to disintermediate Uber completely, maybe they try to keep it as their own closed network. I mean, that's why I think there's some real questions about it.
Right.
Well, Elon even suggested that somebody could own maybe 10 of these and be like a shepherd and take care of them, take care of the flock, if you will. So there's lots of little ideas out there still.